Again this morning. We're a little bit where we live. We came to a different location. It's beginning to dawn, and I just want to do the law of the day real quick. Go through the book of the law as usual. Earlier this morning, I was looking at Ezekiel chapter 20, and it's been a long time since I. So earlier this morning, I read Ezekiel chapter 20, and it was very refreshing, very because I've read it before and I'm very familiar with Ezekiel chapter 20, but it's been a while. So I'm not going to read it now. I just want to go into the book of the law. As usual, I'm going to randomly look at the law randomly before we get started today. Let me try Exodus 22. My network is not very good, as you can see. It keeps lagging me. So my apologies, please. I'm sorry. The network is not very good because of the area where we are in. The internet connection is not so good in this area. So I'll manage to do as much as I can. Chapter 22 is the reason. It is because the Most High said to meditate in the book of the law, day and night. Exodus chapter 22. Exodus 20. Wow. What I'm about to read right now is very unusual, but we have to meditate on it. Exodus 22:22. Exodus 22:22. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. This law is very relevant. The Exodus 22:22. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. Let me start backwards. Let me start from the last one. Fatherless child, fatherless child, fatherless child. So those of us here in Africa knows what this means. To oppress a fatherless child. But my brother, my sister, please, I want to explain this law in a way that will benefit you. Sometimes when we have issue with family members, sometimes you might have issue with your cousin. You might have issue with your brother or your sister. You might have issue, in fact, whenever you have issue with anybody, please, even if they offended you, this is how I like to live my life. Even if they offended you, as you're battling with them, as you're having, I would like you to make out some time to by yourself, reflect, and ask yourself whether is there anything that you're doing wrong in this problem you're having with this person? Whenever you're having issue with someone, always I know why I'm telling you this, my brother. Verse 22 says you should not oppress a widow. So you must always be very careful in this, because oftentimes, most of the time, when we are having problems with people, when we're having issue with someone, we try to defend ourselves. We always assume that we are right and that the person is wrong. That is what naturally we assume that we are right. Me, whenever I'm dealing with people, that's why when I'm having problems with people, I act slowly. I have some issue with, if I tell you, like, I act slowly. That might make me look like I'm dumb. It might seem like I'm stupid. It might seem like I'm weak, because I try to be very careful when I'm dealing with people. There are people that you will deal with. My apologies, I'm so sorry. The network is not very good. My apologies, I'm so sorry. The network is not very good because of the area where we are at right now. This is a different area. Boro 7. Airtel want to save and when the service say about safe. Okay, sorry about that. So, so my apologies. The network is so bad. Here's the thing, because I cannot continue because of the network problems. Whenever you are having issue with anybody at a parking lot, a restaurant, on the street, family, whenever you're having problem with someone, make out some time to reflect. When you're taking shower, think. As you're taking shower, when you're by yourself, think, is there anything that I'm doing wrong? That is, try to be a critic of yourself. Critique yourself. Whenever you're having problem with someone, critique yourself and be willing to tell yourself the truth. I do this. Whenever I'm having issue with someone, I critique myself. I ask myself, is there anything that I'm doing wrong in this issue? Because it's so easy to just assume that I'm right. It's their fault, they're wrong, I'm right. It's so easy for us to think that we're a saint. I'm not a saint. I do wrong people. I do evil things sometimes. I do bad things sometimes. That's one of the reasons why I love the law. I love the law. Psalm 19 verse 7. The law of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. So, having problem with someone, try to judge yourself, critique yourself, because you could be the cause of the problem. You could actually be the one offending person. You could be the one causing, and that others are wrong. Exodus 22:22. Exodus 22:22. Let it be what we learn from that chapter. Let it be what we learn from Exodus 22:22. Do not oppress a fatherless child. Or if you use this principle that I just gave you, that is, whenever you're having problem with someone, ask yourself an honest question. Am I the one causing this problem? Critique yourself. And if you look at the whole problem and how it started, try to make it right. Make it right. Okay? This is very important. So that in that way, we will not, if you're dealing with a fatherless child or a widow, and you use this principle, you will not oppress them. Because if you're wrong, even if you guys have already started fighting or quarreling or having issue, if you're wrong, don't hesitate to make it right. Don't hesitate. A motherless child, a widow, a man, woman. That's a beautiful principle that I use. And because of this principle, I don't oppress, I hardly oppress people because of this principle that I just explained to you right now. That's how I like to operate. Whenever I'm dealing with someone, whenever I'm having issue with someone, issues with, I don't kick them out. I could say, hey, get out of here. I own this congregation. I did this. I started this congregation. I did this. I'm that. Get out. I disagree with you. You're bad. You're evil. You're wicked. Get out. I try to be very careful. I try to be very, very careful whenever I'm dealing with people. If I have to correct the issue, I will go and correct it. All praises to our Heavenly Father. I'm going to go ahead and get started today. Let's move the camera to a different place. Can you come with this, please? Okay. I'm gonna have four chain fold, they fold. A four chain fold, they fold. In a bute, will watch you nano. All right, so my brothers and sisters, we're gonna go ahead and get started. That's the area where we are at. So my network this might get disconnected any moment because look at the area where we're at. You see the area? Let me show you. You see the area? So it's a very beautiful area, and this extends into the next town. Next town, it's on the other side. So there's a lot of people that live down here. There are a lot of people that live down here. If you look over there, you see a church. That's a huge church over on the other. That's a church right there. That's